Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the kinematics of fluids, and today we will try to talk about the acceleration. So acceleration in fluid flows. This is the topic of discussion for today. Alright, so let's start. Let us see. Let's assume that we have a flow field, a three-dimensional flow field in x, y and z directions, okay, and we select a fixed point in this flow field, okay. Now the coordinates of this point are x1, y1, z1. Okay, this is a fixed point. Now we are taking measurements at this fixed point since we follow Eulerian measurements. Okay, Lagrangian measurements means if we select a particular fluid point and keep the track of the fluid point, okay, if this is a fluid particle, okay, and if we measure the velocity of this fluid particle here, then it will travel here, then it will go here, it will go here, and if we keep measuring the velocity of this single fluid particle, then that measurement is a Lagrangian measurement. But what generally we follow? We follow an Eulerian measurement. So we will fix a point in the flow field x1, y1, z1, the coordinates of this point, and we will measure the velocity, pressure, etc. at this point. Okay. So this is the point of measurement. Now we will try to find out the acceleration at this point, acceleration of the flow. All right. Now, if we want to find out the acceleration, we should know the velocities. Okay, so velocity vector at this point, velocity vector v would be what? Ux plus vy plus w z. This is the velocity vector. Therefore, the magnitude of the resultant velocity would be root of u square plus v square plus w square. Okay, this is the magnitude of velocity, and conventionally how we find out the velocity, how we find out the acceleration, we take the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So let us say if we want to find out the velocity in acceleration in x direction, acceleration in x direction. Okay, so what we would generally do, we would just take the rate of change of velocity in x direction with respect to time at x1, y1 and z1 at this fixed point, because we are measuring the velocities at a fixed point in Eulerian measurements. Okay, so in this way we can find out, but is this the correct expression for velocity? That is the question. Alright, see, if we are talking about if we are following a control system approach, then this is probably a correct way of finding out the acceleration. However, when we are taking Eulerian measurements and we are dealing with control volumes and not control systems, then this approach is not suitable to find the acceleration. Now I will discuss this with an example, how this approach is not correctly is entirely correct. Okay, for that purpose, let's take a pipe. Again we will take a pipe, and it is a contracting section. Let's say it is a contracting section. Okay, and we are suppose taking measurements at a fixed location. Alright, because that's what we can do. So let's take a measurement here. Okay, this is 1, 1. Okay. Now let's try to find the acceleration of this flow. Okay, using the same analogy which we discussed right now, and let's see if it is correct or not. Okay, so let's say you are measuring the velocities here, and average velocity is say u1. Okay, in x direction. The flow is from left to right. Okay, this is the flow direction, and flow is taking from taking place from left to right. All right. Now you want to find out the acceleration here. Now the discharge is constant. Okay. The discharge is constant. It is a steady flow. Okay. This is a steady flow. Why? Because discharge is constant, so it will become a steady flow. All right. Now let's calculate the acceleration. So acceleration AX would be what? Just calculate del U1 by del T. Okay. At 1 1. But what will be the value of del U by del T? Alright, since this is a steady flow, discharge is constant, steady flow, so flow properties will not change with respect to time. At a particular location, the flow properties will not change with time. So it means that, effectively what it means, that the acceleration is 0. Alright, so when we are just applying our previous knowledge of finding acceleration, we are ending up with a value of acceleration 0 in this particular case. Now is it correct? So if you want to, if you are applying this analogy to this flow problem, we are getting 0 acceleration, but is it correct? Let's think about it. Now see, just look at the flow here. Okay, consider this control volume now. I am drawing a control volume here. Okay, this is your control volume, suppose. Okay, this is your control volume. Now see, here area of flow is large, area of flow is less. Okay, so A1 is greater than A2. Flow area at A1 is greater than flow area at A2. So let's call this 2. Okay. Now since the flow area A1 is greater than A2, what will happen to the velocities? See, anyways the conservation of mass should be followed. Mass is always conserved. So in order to conserve the mass, what happens? When the flow passes through contraction, area of flow is decreasing, the velocity should increase. Since our continuity equation is what? A1 V1 should be equal to A2 V2 at this location. Okay, so it will be A1 U1 should be A2 equal to A2 into U2. Okay, fine. Now area A1 is greater than A2. Okay, it means what will happen? Therefore U2 will be greater than U1. So what is happening here? In a steady flow, what is happening? There can be a case in which the flow velocity is increasing. Okay, like in this case, the flow is convected through a contraction, so its velocity is increasing. The flow is convected, clearly we can see. So in this case, the velocities are changing. Even though apparently it is a steady flow, and apparently it seems that the acceleration is 0, but it is not the correct scenario. So acceleration must be there in this kind of flow. Okay, that's why this approach is not suitable for control volume. Okay, problems involving control volume approach. So that's why we have to find an expression to calculate the acceleration in control volume approaches. Okay, so that's our target for today. So we'll try to find the expression for acceleration in this type of flows. Now let's say in the same example we will take, a same three-dimensional flow field we will consider. In this three-dimensional flow field, let's say we are here. Okay, this is the point of measurement of velocity. Okay, now we will consider what is happening in a time delta t. Okay, let's say its coordinates are x, y, z. Okay, and Now when we are measuring the velocity, we are actually measuring the velocity of the fluid particle which is present here. After some time, the same particle will not be here, it will move ahead and some other fluid particle will occupy this space and we will measure the velocity of that particle. So we are actually measuring the velocities of different particles which are occupying this space at different point of time. So this is what is happening with Eulerian measurements, right? So let's consider what is happening in a time delta t. So there was some particle here, it moved here, okay, it went here suppose, okay, in delta t, and at the same time some other particle occupied the space at this location, okay, correct. Now this was particle which was behind this, it occupied this space, and the particle which was here initially went here, okay. So let in delta t let delta x, delta y and delta z be the distance covered in time delta t, okay. So let the distance traveled be delta x, delta y and delta z in x, y, z directions respectively, okay. Now in this small time delta t, how we can write u, v and w, okay. Now we know that u is a function of x, y, z and t. So it is a function of spatial coordinates and time. Similarly v is also a function of x, y, z and t, and w is also a function of x, y, z and t, okay. Now we want to find out acceleration, our aim is to find out acceleration in x, y and z directions. So first we'll have to find out acceleration in x direction. So for that purpose we should know what is the change in velocity, alright. How to find acceleration in, let us say, x direction, how to find acceleration. Acceleration in x direction, for that we'll have to find out final velocity in x direction minus initial velocity in x direction, okay, divided by time, divided by delta t. This is how we'll go about it and find out the acceleration. So let's find out the change in velocity. So in time delta t, what is the change in velocity in x direction? So let delta u, delta v and delta w be the change in velocities in x, y and z directions respectively, okay. So what is the final velocity in x direction? Final velocity in x direction would be u plus delta u, okay, u plus delta u. And what is the initial velocity? It is u. So u plus delta u is the final velocity in x direction. We can write u plus delta u as u is what? U is a function of x, y, z, the spatial coordinates and time. So it is a f of x, y, z and time. Now delta u, how you can write delta u? Delta u is the change in velocity in x direction. It can change with respect to x also, y also, z also and t also, because we have 4 variables. Therefore we can write plus del del u by del x into delta x plus del u by del y into delta y plus del u by del z into delta z plus del u by del t into delta t. Okay, so it can change with respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z, and with respect to time t. So plus again higher order terms. So del 2u by del x square into delta x square, del 2u by del y square into delta y square, like that. So plus higher order terms. Alright, this is in this way we can write down. Now this u, and u is nothing but f of x y z, f of x y z and t. So we can cancel this out. Therefore we are getting delta u is equal to del u by del x into delta x plus del u by del y into delta y plus del u by del z into delta z plus del u by del t into delta t. Okay, so this we are getting plus higher order terms. Okay, so now divide both sides by delta t. What we get? Delta u by delta t is equal to, so we have delta u by delta t, we have del u by del t, del t by del t will cancel out, plus del u by del x into delta x upon delta t plus del u by del y into delta y upon delta t plus del u by del z into delta z by delta t plus higher order terms. Okay, so now we can take the limit of delta t tends to 0. See, acceleration is what? Rate of change of velocity. Alright, so final velocity minus initial velocity will give you the change in velocity. Delta u is the change in velocity. So change in velocity per unit time is the acceleration in x direction, provided the delta t is very small, provided this time difference is very small. So that's why we will take the limit of delta t tends to 0 for both sides. So taking limit we'll just write it here. So let's take the limit delta t tends to 0. Alright, so take the limit for both left and right hand sides. What we get? Limit delta t tends to 0. I'll just erase this also. So let's take the limits. Limit delta t tends to 0. What is this? Delta u by delta t. U by delta t is equal to, this is del u by del t already. There is no term of delta t here, plus again take limit delta t tends to 0. We are taking this limit in for this variable because we have a delta t here. Okay, so del u by del x, so I can just write del u by del x outside into limit delta t tends to 0, and what is that? Delta x by delta t, plus again what do we have? Del u by del y we don't have a term of delta t in this, therefore we are taking it outside and taking limit delta t tends to 0, and what is here, del u by, so sorry, this should be delta y. Okay, so delta y by delta t plus again last term, so del u by del z we are taking outside, and limit delta t tends to 0 delta z upon delta t. Okay, so this is the expression. Now higher order terms we are neglecting here because the values will again decrease. We are taking already the square terms, cube terms will go on decreasing, and again when we take the limit it is again very small, so we are neglecting the higher order terms here. Now what is this? This is exactly the definition of acceleration. Okay, this is the first derivative of u with respect to time. Okay, so first derivative of u with respect to time is nothing but the acceleration or total rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So capital du by dt, that is equal to del u by del t plus, we have, now what is the meaning of this? See, this is the change in x divided by change in time. So rate of change of displacement in x direction with respect to time, provided the time is very small. So this is nothing but the first derivative of distance with respect to time, which is nothing but velocity. So this is u into del u by del x plus, this is in the same fashion, this will be what? This will be v, velocity in y direction, change in distance in y direction divided by time, and keep making the time difference very small will give us the first derivative of distance with respect to time, which is velocity. So this is v del u by del y plus, similarly this is w, this will become w. Okay, so therefore we have w del u by del z. Okay, so therefore now what we are getting finally, so finally we are getting the expression for acceleration. So this is nothing but the total acceleration. This is called as a total acceleration. When we should use this expression when our measurements are Lagrangian measurements. Alright, so when we are taking measurements at a fixed point, and if you want to find out what is the acceleration at this point, then this will be the expression for acceleration. So what is the meaning of these terms? Basically this is called as a total acceleration. Total acceleration, or it is also called as material acceleration, or it is also called as substantial acceleration. Now just think about these terms. Basically there are two types of terms. One is the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. This is one of the terms. So it represents the change in velocity with respect to time. So this is the temporal acceleration. Alright, so this is the temporal or local acceleration. It is also called as local acceleration. And what does this mean? These terms, these terms represents the convection of flow in all the three directions. So flow can either change temporally at a fixed location, and it can also change with respect to space. It can be convected. Alright, so velocities may change with respect to time also and space also. So this term represents the spatial acceleration. It is also called as convective acceleration. Alright, so total acceleration in a fluid flow is a combination of, is a result of two quantities. One is the temporal acceleration, other is the convective acceleration. And similarly, we have these operators are also called by the same names. This operator d by dt is equal to del t plus u del x plus v del y plus w del z. These are basically the operators. So whenever you want to find out acceleration, suppose say you want to find out acceleration in y direction, so what you will do, just put v in all this, apply this operator to velocity in y direction. So it will be dv by dt is equal to del v by del t plus del v u del v by del x plus v del v by del y plus w del v by del z. So this is nothing but the operators. Okay, so you can find out acceleration in a direction by just applying this operator. This is called as the names of the operator are same. This is called as the material operator, this is called as temporal operator, this is called as the convective operator. Alright, so in this way you can find out the acceleration in all the three directions. Fine. Now we'll see some what are some of the flow types in which acceleration exists in those flows. I will write down here type of acceleration. This is a temporal, this is convective. Okay, convective. Now let's say we have first type of flow is a steady flow. Alright, let's say steady and uniform. Now if the flow is steady as well as uniform, which acceleration will be present in those flows? Alright, let's take an example. That day we discussed a few examples. So a steady uniform flow will be like this. What is the meaning of a steady flow? A flow which does not change with respect to time at a particular location. And uniform means the flow properties will not change with respect to space. So what will be an example? A steady flow passing through a constant diameter pipe. Okay, this is an example of a steady flow. Q is constant. Alright. Now see which acceleration will be present in this flow. Let's take a section. Okay, let's take a control volume rather, to be precise. Let's take this control volume. Okay, this is our control volume. Now flow is coming here and leaving from this control surface. Okay. Now for temporal acceleration, what is the criteria? What is temporal acceleration? Or it is del u by del t or del t. So rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So is it happening in this case? You measure the velocity here u1, okay, but it is a steady flow, isn't it? It's a steady flow. So if it is a steady flow, the velocity at this location will not change with respect to time. Alright, so it will be 0. Rate of change of velocity with respect to time will be 0. So temporal acceleration will be 0 in this type of flow, steady and uniform. Temporal acceleration will be 0. What about convective acceleration? See, now for convective acceleration we should get del u by del x. What is the operator? U del x plus v del y plus w del z. This is the operator, convective. So it means that the velocity should either change with respect to x, y or z. Alright. Now it's a uniform flow. What is the meaning of uniform flow? At a particular time the flow properties will not change with space. So u1 will be equal to u2 here. So velocities will not change with space. So there will be no rate of change of velocity. Let us say if we are considering u, there will be no rate of change of velocity in x, y or z direction since it is a uniform flow. Therefore the convective acceleration will also be 0 in this case. So for a steady and uniform flow we will get total acceleration 0. What about the second case? Steady and non-uniform. Now we can just guess that if we have a steady flow but it is non-uniform. Right now we saw the example in the beginning that we have a steady flow passing through a pipe, okay, but the area of cross section is changing, okay, so this flow becomes steady and non-uniform flow. Now what happens when the flow is passing from this pipe? If you consider a control volume, let's say this is your control volume. Now what is happening? If you take a particular location, let's say you take 1 1 and you take 2 2, okay, at 1 1 you keep on measuring the velocities, it will not change with time since it is a steady flow. So, and you can do that at any location. At location 2 also, if you keep on measuring the velocities, they will not change with time, correct, because it is a because q is constant, steady flow. So again there will be no temporal acceleration. Temporal acceleration is related to the steadiness or non-steadiness. Steady flow means temporal acceleration will be 0. But what about the convective acceleration? Here it will be present because velocities are changing with space, isn't it? Here velocity at this location will be greater than the velocity at this location. So velocity is changing with space, that's why the flow will have a convective acceleration. Convective acceleration will be present. Third type is unsteady uniform. Okay, now we can just imagine and find out whether which acceleration will be present. Flow is unsteady, it means at a particular point velocities will change with time, so we will get a temporal acceleration. However, if the flow is uniform, velocities will not change with space, so convective acceleration will be 0. Alright. Now fourth is unsteady and non-uniform, both. Okay, like we have a pipe, cross section is decreasing, flow is taking place from left to right, and discharge is also changing, area is also changing. Alright, so if at a particular point if you measure the velocities, they will change with time. So so temporal acceleration is there on steady flow, and also the velocities will change with space. Here the velocities will go on increasing. So the convective acceleration is also present. So for unsteady non-uniform flows we are getting both type of acceleration. So this is all about the acceleration in fluid flows.